Congratulations, crypto fam. We just hit 85 G's. 90 G's is next. Send it. Welcome, everyone, and congratulations to all Bitcoin holders around the world. We did it. 100,000 in play. Let's go. In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest technical analysis as well as a new record. Bitcoin surpasses 1.6 trillion market cap. We'll also be discussing crypto inflows hit 1.98 billion amid post-election momentum, as well as MicroStrategy buys 2 billion in Bitcoin, boosting holdings to 23 billion. Let's go, Giga Chad. We'll also be discussing Elon Musk's repost call to end of the U.S. Federal Reserve and the Fed. We'll also be discussing Bitcoin price to hit $1 million according to crypto analysts Mikhail Van de Poppe. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this plus so much more excitement in today's show. If you're new to the channel, important to smash the likes. Go ahead and subscribe to the #1 day of the Bitcoin pod. Then hit the bell icon. Turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, just like this. Today is pod 1815. I'm your host, JV. Bitcoin just hit a new all-time high of 85,000 even over on Coinbase, the largest exchange in the United States. Bitcoin continuing to break out. MicroStrategy continuing to buy, announcing another $2 billion buy. I got $1 million price prediction to share with the folks here today. So let's go. Let's kick it off with our market watch as we do each and every day. Bitcoin back in the forest green, up 6% on the day. Again, it just tapped 85,000 a few moments ago. We have Ether up 2.5%, about to crush 3,300. Dogecoin a top gainer on the day, up 22%, trading at 32 cents. And checking out coinmarketcap.com. The current crypto market cap is fast approaching the 3 trillion all-time high, currently sitting at 2.87 trillion. Let's go. And the Bitcoin market cap soaring, new all-time high, $1.675 trillion. A whopping volume of 258 billion in the past 24 hours. The Bitcoin dominance 58.3%. Ether dominance pull back a bit, 13.8%. Checking out the top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours. Kronos leading the pack, up 29%, followed by Doge, followed by Athena, followed by WIF. Which alts, if any, are you bullish on for the bull? Holla. And check it out, the crypto bubbles. We get a visual perspective. Let's go to the daily. The daily says the bulk of the market pumping in the green. The weekly says everything pumping in the green. The monthly says virtually everything pumping and in the green. So enjoy these gains, fam. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index. Today, we're in extreme greed. 76, yesterday is 78. Just note, the higher this number goes, the more likely of a pullback. We are overdue for a pullback, but we're a pumping in price discovery. Where she shall stop, nobody knows. And last week was a 70, and last month a 48, 49 neutral. And checking out the time chain calendar, there's 180,131 blocks to go into the next halving of 2028. And we're currently on block height 869,869. And today, less than 1,200 sats per dollar. I warned you guys. Right now, you can get 1,182 satoshis per dollar. Stack them sats. Accordingly, this number is only going to continue to go down and down and down and down and down because fiat has no power. At the end of the day, it's monopoly money. They print it out of thin air, and the rest of the world is catching on to the Ponzi scheme, if you feel what I'm saying. Let's get just right into today's technical analysis, aka astrology for the broskies. Pull up the live charts considering price discovery. Bitcoin on track for 85. Let's correct this headline. Bitcoin just smashed 85. It is on track to 90G territory. That's right. Bitcoin's trading in uncharted territory, potentially approaching the six-figure price tag for the first time in Bitcoin history following the Trump victory for the U.S. presidential election. We call this the mega Trump pump. Actually, let me rephrase that. The MAGA Trump pump. The Bitcoin price now broke above $85,000 here a few minutes ago on November 11th, a divine number, 1111. Happy Veterans Day to the entire fam. Here's the 1 month chart. I'll be pulling up the live chart here in a moment. Stay tuned. Pump the likes, pump the stream, repost this, spread the word. We live. Still, this may be the only maybe only a pit stop for the price, which is expected to breach 90,000 this week. Mark my words. But according to Ryan Lee, here's what he shared. This week, we expect the volatility of Bitcoin and ETH to continue to increase with potential upward breakthroughs followed by rapid corrections. The predicted range for Bitcoin this week is between 76 and 85. Well, guess what? We already blew past your expectations of 85, bro. So we're heading to 90. Mark my words. Trump's election victory bolstered investor appetite for the risk-on assets like the biddy. The Republican presidential elect could set Bitcoin on track to breach 100 Gs before the end of the year. I think it's a lock. Let me know your thoughts, show, and let's discuss this options market. Some analysts argue that the current Bitcoin rally lacked the fundamental macroeconomic conditions to reach an all-time high. Bitcoin has continued to climb to new all-time highs virtually every day since the Trump win. So don't get it twisted. Option markets are the relative prices of the call of the put options, also to point to strong investor sentiment amongst the hodlers, quoting them here. Bitcoin call options have become significantly more expensive than put options, showing a strong bullish bias and a degree of market consensus for further upward movement. This week, we expect the volatility of the biddy and Ether to continue to increase with potential upward breakthroughs followed by rapid corrections. We shall soon see about those rapid corrections. And meanwhile, Ether continues to break out as well. It's on the cusp of hitting $3,300. And as they say, a rising tide rises all ships. So Ether, Vitalik, and Ether hodlers thank the biddy for that one. And let's pull up some of the live charts. Feels like we're resurrecting another pump. Watch Action Jackson, 84,500. We're doing its thing. But let's go to the 1 hour chart. This is the 1 hour right now via Coinbase, via TradingView. As you can see, the all-time high is 85 Gs, 85,000. We're only 15,000 away from the 100K fiesta in Puerto Rico. So make some noise for that. And zooming out from the 1 hour, take another glance at the 4 hour, one of my favorite charts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the last 6 closes for the 4 hour have been green. Very impressive greens, might I add, as we're continuing to build another green candle towards 90 Gs. And zooming out from the 4 hour, let's take a quick look at the 1 day. The 1 day says we're going up forever, Laura. 85,000 again is the all-time high. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days of consecutive green daily closes since the Trump election. So let's freaking go. It's a new day, family. Here's the 1 week. Very sexy chart as well. Rising wedge formation sensation. We do have a target sitting pretty at 124 Gs. 124,000 Q4 target. Send it. Let's get it. And you already know the November month has been nothing less than spectacular thus far, and we're only 11 days in. Let's continue this Moonvember pump to the moon. And as you can see, 3 consecutive green monthly candle closes, counting this month, forming a very bullish green Godzilla candle, as you can see. So there you have it, yo, and welcome everyone just joining the live show. 1.6 trillion smashed. New Bitcoin all-time high as far as the market cap is concerned. And we're continuing to raise it higher and higher in real time. November 11th, Bitcoin reached the market cap of 1.62 trillion and rising amid the ongoing bullishness, concurrently bringing up the global crypto market cap to its former glory, a 2.71 trillion. As you can see here, the recent price appreciation also ensured that the Bitcoin investors over the last 15 years maintained profitable portfolios. That's right, every single Bitcoiner is in profit. And according to blockchain.com, the findings imply that all unsold Bitcoin investments made in the previous 8,900 days have appreciated in value. All of them, every single wallet. It's going up forever, Laura. Bitcoin's current circulating supply, which is the total number of the tokens released to the market, stands at 19.8 million BTC. If Bitcoin were at its maximum supply at 21 million, the Bitcoin market cap would have recorded a fully diluted value of 1.7 trillion. Some factors contributing to the Bitcoin sustained growth are rising interest from institutional investors. You can say that again. I call that the institutional FOMO like a mofo. And the pro-crypto stance of U.S. President-elect Mr. Trump. An overall positive investor sentiment Trump pump for the win. Most recently, Bitcoin reached the trillion market cap February of 2024 with a Bitcoin price surge back above 50 Gs. Still, the asset struggled to retain the milestone amid the halving event. Bitcoin's recent price surge now to 85,000 has led many traders to say this is just the beginning. It's going up forever, Laura. And yesterday I shared a very bullish prediction from analyst Tor Demeester suggesting Bitcoin reaching $1 million per coin. If you missed that, make sure to check it out. That was pod episode 1814. Right now, today, pod episode 1815 as Bitcoin continues making history. 90 G's incoming. Send it. Let's continue with our next story of the day. Bitcoin ETF inflows, unprecedented numbers as well. I mean, so much bullishness. It's not even funny. Crypto inflows hit almost 2 billion amid post-election momentum. That's right. Crypto investment products saw 2 billion in inflows from November 3rd to the 9th, pushing global assets under management to a record high of $116 billion as of today, November 11th. This marks the 5th consecutive week of inflows totaling 7.7 billion, 24% of the 31.3 billion recorded in 2024 thus far. And in line with the previous CoinShares report, spot Bitcoin ETF trading in the US led the inflows in crypto products last week. Bitcoin saw inflows of 1.8 billion, with Bitcoin products reaching 9 billion in inflows since the US Fed cut interest rates for the first time in 4 years in September. That's right. A combination of the supportive macro environment and seismic shifts in the U.S. political system being the likely reason for such supportive investor sentiment. And regionally, most inflows came from the U.S., totaling 1.95 billion. Europe saw minor inflows, with Switzerland and Germany contributing 23 million and 20 million, respectively. On the other hand, investors in Sweden continue to sell, with weekly outflows amounting to 25.7 million. Meanwhile, the German government is probably like, what in the world did we do? How stupid were we? We just lost billions. That's right. Now that's going to set the example for other nation states to hodl, just saying. Meanwhile, Ether is having positive sentiment for the ETFs finally as well. In the first week of November, Ether ETF saw inflows of 157 million, the largest inflow since the first Ether ETF started trading back in July, marking a notable improvement in the sentiment. And now there's talk of Solana ETFs. I think there is already live, and Tron ETFs, Uni, and even XRP, according to Brad Garlinghouse. So the institutional FOMO shall continue, family, and I think they're just getting started. BlackRock did 33 billion in volume in Bitcoin, surpassing gold, which has the gold ETF has been live for 19 years, going on 2 decades. Bitcoin just surpassed the gold ETF volume in literally 10 months. Let that sink in. When I say FOMO like a mofo, I'm not exaggerating, yo. Bitcoin Super Saiyan. Bitcoin Super Saiyan. Now let's discuss the Giga Chad himself. I mean, another $2 billion buy, boosting their holdings to 23 billion. Good Lord. Some investors hold back from buying the biddy when it reaches new highs. MicroStrategy doubles down, demonstrating a strong commitment to BTC. November 11th, his announcement, the business intelligence firm turned Bitcoin investor said it bought 27,200 Bitcoin for another 2.03 billion in cash. MicroStrategy purchased the coins between October 31st and November 10th at an average price of 74,463 per Bitcoin, including fees and expenses. For Michael, it pays to buy the top, 23 billion. Good Lord. With the latest purchase, the company now holds a total of 279,420 Bitcoin. I like that number. 279,420. Happy 420, broskies. Worth nearly 23 billion at the current prices and rising fast. According to MicroStrategy, the Bitcoin purchases were made using proceeds from issuing and selling its shares. MicroStrategy reported entering into sales agreements with various companies August 1st, and on October 30th, as of November 10th, it has sold approximately 7.8 million shares for about $2 billion. The company disclosed that its Bitcoin yield, which is its key performance metric assessing its Bitcoin acquisition strategy, was 7.3% from October 1st to November 10th. For the year to date, its Bitcoin yield stands at 26.4%. Let's go. The news follows the company's share price increasing following the Trump victory of the U.S. presidential election November 5th. November 8th, MicroStrategy stock price has shot up by almost 20% after the Trump victory was confirmed. Meanwhile, MicroStrategy Bitcoin portfolio tracker, the Saylor tracker, named after the company's executive chair, Mikey Saylor, showed the firm's return on investment on Bitcoin surpassed 100%. November 10th, the data data tracker showed that the company's holdings at the time had already surpassed $20.5 billion, even before adding the company's latest Bitcoin purchase. Bitcoin Treasuries data shows the company bought the Biddy 42 times at an average price of $39,000. The firm remains the largest corporate Bitcoin hodler, as they were the first to adopt the Bitcoin as legal tender. Or I shouldn't say legal tender, that's Bukele. I'm mixing up there for the nation of El Salvador. But they were the first corporation to adopt Bitcoin on the balance sheet. And since then, it's a wrap. That was all the way back in 2020. The two companies between MicroStrategy and Marathon Digital now hold about $2.1 billion and $840 million worth of the Bitcoin, respectively. So there you go. And as you know, we shared not yesterday, but last week on the pod, Michael Saylor announced for MicroStrategy a $42 billion acquisition over the next 3 years, buying Bitcoin, purchasing up the entire minted supply single-handedly. Let that one sink in. So this is ultimately him demonstrating his actions, right? Already $2 billion done, another $40 billion incoming from MicroStrategy over the course of the next 3 years, leading into the next halving of 2028. How do you like those apples? Let's continue with the headlines so we can get to some of the live charts when we're done and witness history together. So yeah, another headline here. Elon reposts call to end the U.S. Federal Reserve Bank. Gangsta. Elon appeared to support a call to end the Federal Reserve Bank in the U.S. after reposting a tweet from Utah Senator Mike Lee, who called for greater executive oversight over monetary policy and abolishing the central bank and the Fed. Lee argued the Federal Reserve Chairman Jay Powell's recent assertion he would not resign from his post, even if asked by incoming President Trump, represented an out-of-control system, ultimately meaning he answers to nobody. Here's what Lee wrote. The executive branch should not, or let me rephrase, the executive branch should be under the direction of the president. That is how the Constitution was designed. The Federal Reserve is one of many examples of how we have deviated from the Constitution. In that regard, yet another reason why we should end the Fed. Let me know if you agree. If so, hashtag end the Fed. Lee's call to abolish the Fed represents a growing sentiment amongst sound money advocates and Bitcoin maxis, who argue that centrally managed fiat currencies are prone to monetary inflation and currency devaluation. Preach. Now, let's break this down further. As the national debt in the U.S. tops 35 trillion, we probably already hit 36 trillion by now. Bitcoin has increasingly praised by lawmakers, individuals, and financial institutions as a hedge against the currency inflation caused by decades of money printer go brr from the Fed. Now, Jimmy Patronis, Florida's chief financial officer and one of the officials responsible for overseeing the state's pension funds, is pushing for the state's pension funds to invest into Bitcoin to protect consumer purchasing power from the depreciating U.S. fiat monopoly money we know as the dollar. And in July of 2024, Wyoming Senator Cynthia Lummis introduced the Bitcoin Strategic Bill Reserve to the Senate. Lummis specifically cited rising inflation and the corresponding loss in purchasing power as the main impetus for the bill. Meanwhile, Trump, who will assume office January 20th of 2025, less than 90 days out, also teased the strategic Bitcoin stockpile at the Bitcoin 2024 conference in Nashville, Tennessee. Shortly after Trump's keynote address at the conference, the incoming president hinted at using Bitcoin to pay the national debt. And let's reiterate some of Trump's promises becoming POTUS. Day one, Gary Gensler, you're fired. Now go home and get your shine box, Gary. Number two, Ross Ulbricht, you're freed. You're pardoned. Get out of that prison cell. 2 life sentences, unjustified. You're a free man. You're a legend. You're speaking at the next Bitcoin conference. How do you like that? He also promised to make the United States of America a Bitcoin mining hub for the entire world. He also mentioned stockpiling the Biddy, never selling the Bitcoin, unlike the current administration getting rid of all the Bitcoin like idiots, like Germany. Not happening. Now let's discuss the $1 million prediction. Headline reads, will Bitcoin hit $1 million? And at what cost? Well, let's break down the latest from crypto analyst Mikhail Van de Poppe. So here we go. Bitcoin is officially back. You can say that again. We're up like 20,000 in the past 10 days. So yeah, we're back in a bull market and could potentially hit 1 million per coin in the next few years with Trump at the helm, according to trader and investor Mikhail Van de Poppe. However, the founder also noted, he warned that $1 million Bitcoin price might come alongside a much broader debt crisis that could wreck the price of all assets in the short term. Let's discuss this. Van de Poppe sat down with decentralized host Jonathan de Jong at DKGCon 2024 in Amsterdam for an exclusive interview to discuss the state of the Bitcoin bull market and whether an alt season is on the horizon, the impact of a Donald Trump presidency, plus so much more. It's going up forever, Laura. Van de Poppe, who spoke at de Jong October 24th prior to Bitcoin's recent return to new all-time highs, said the Bitcoin was back in the bull, but that it had been stuck in the boring zone while awaiting for a return to the banana zone. Quoting the analyst here, I still believe that currently we're on the verge of the perfect storm, or we are actually building it already, which means that next year is going to be big. But maybe that's the difference. I think that the next part of the cycle is going to be longer than the previous cycle, so we're going to end up somewhere in 2026. Let me know if you agree, disagree. Do you think this cycle will be unlike any others? Do you think it'll be longer, or do you think it'll end like the others in 2025, which is the year preceding the halving, considering we just had a halving in April of 2024? And as he posts here, record-breaking inflow in Bitcoin since Trump won the elections. More than $2 billion has flown into the Bitcoin ETF. More than 120 million has flown into the Ethereum ETF. The bull market is here. We're back, broskies. And as to whether Bitcoin will reach the often discussed 1 million price target, Van de Poppe said it will likely happen as long as the de facto policy from central banks continues to be money printing. So that means it's a lock. Bitcoin's heading to 1 million. It's a mathematical certainty they're going to continue to print. Money printer continue to go brr. That's what it was created to do. Just saying. However, he cautioned that many investors don't pay close attention enough to the amount of debt that we create, and that's going through the roof. Practically 36 trillion, fam. It is going to be recalled at some point, and we are going to have a debt crisis like we have seen in 2008. And guess what? Bitcoin was birthed, Genesis block, 2009 as a result of that financial crisis. Deja vu, family, quoting him here. When and if that happens, the amount of dollars that we have in circulation is going to drop. And if that happens, the purchasing power is going to drop as well. And the price of Bitcoin will also change. So yes, at some point in time, it's expected to happen. But if we have the crisis in between, yes, of course, it is going to be disastrous for the valuation of all assets. And the US dollar, it's all going to zero against Bitcoin. Van de Poppe also weighed in on the impact of the US President-elect Trump and his administration and how it might have the effect on Bitcoin. He says, I think people overrate the current elections. He shared, in the long term, it doesn't matter. That's right. Bitcoin is not dependent upon any human being or politician or central banker. It's irrelevant. Bitcoin's going up forever, Laura. Do you understand why? Because it's perfect money. We've never had perfect money. It's the perfect store of value. It's pristine collateral. It's unconfiscatable. It's un-F-wittable. Must I continue to go on? He also says Bitcoin doesn't care about governments, and it doesn't care about the policies. Agreed 100%. Bitcoin does not give a what. Hence, Honey Badger doesn't give a what either. He argued that Trump's approach to regulation would be great for Bitcoin in the short term, at least if he does what he says. However, midterm impacts could be disastrous. As he has stated, he is determined to end inflation, and ultimately, regardless of who is in charge, Bitcoin will continue to offer the same value propositions it always has. I think in the short term, people overrate the elections. It just doesn't really make sense. It's going to be the same outcome at the end of the day, but here's the deal. Since Trump won the election, and since that evening of watching the markets pump, the prediction market on Poppe market, 100% correlated. All financial markets have been surging with the Trump victory. That's not a coincidence. It's not just, oh my God, it's just at the right time. No, we watched it in real time as Trump was that election night. The Bitcoin prices were reacting in real time to the decisive lead Trump had over Harris. So it's absolutely correlated. And financial markets are all crushing it right now. Elon just surpassed a $300 billion net worth, becoming the richest man in the world. Why is everything going through the roof? Stocks, gold, etc. Because Trump is going to be our next POTUS, family. And that's very, very bullish for financial markets around the world, not just for the Bitcoin. 2025 is going to be amazing for the crypto bros. JV, have you seen the cost of housing in the U.S.? It's crazy, yo. 1 Bitcoin, you can buy a little house now. Wild. I love bananas and banana zones. Preach. Welcome everyone to the Q&A segment of the live stream. Happy 420. 427 folks over on YouTube. 1,172 total. We're streaming live on X, Rumble, and YouTube. Because we're at price discovery, we're just going to look at the charts. Let me know if that sounds good to you guys. We're just going to look at the charts. Welcome to Chart Watchers Anonymous. We're watching the biddy make new all-time highs. Price discovery is here.